So yeah, the Indiana Fever. The Indiana Fever have just signed Khloe Bybby to her rest season contract. Why is it? And thank God the Indiana Fever made this decision. I was getting really scared. I was getting really, really scared that the Fever just weren't going to sign her.
The Indiana Fever just pulled off the kind of move that makes general managers wake up at 3 a.m. grinning like they stole Christmas. Khloe Bybby. 2 games, 2 games. That's all it took for the Fever brass to say, we've seen enough. Lock her down before someone else gets smart. And just like that, boom, rest of season contract signed, sealed, and delivered.
And then Khloe Bybby, that stretch 4 that they've been missing, who was just signed for the rest of the season. Meaning Khloe Bybby's audition went really well for the Indiana Fever. Clearly, there you see the graphic. She was signed rest of the season contract. She was on a 7-day contract. She has produced in limited minutes for the team. I mean, playing her role, 24 minutes, 18 points in the 24 minutes, 4 of 8 from beyond the arc. She does not hesitate to shoot the ball.
This isn't your typical let's wait and see approach. This is management moving with the urgency of someone who knows they've struck gold. The 27-year-old Australian forward came in on a 7-day hardship deal like she was auditioning for a community theater production, but she walked out with a starring role in the biggest basketball show in Indiana.
I think this is the difference we're seeing right now between this and that hardship situation. They didn't have to let her go and then wait a certain amount of time. They made a decision to go ahead and just pull the trigger and bring her in for the rest of the year. I think it's a great look for the Indiana Fever. I also think it's a bit of an indictment on the Indiana Fever front office off-season because their 2 best moves look like they've been made during the year. Arie McDonald, Khloe Bybby.
Khloe Bybby didn't just impress, she demolished expectations faster than a wrecking ball through tissue paper. In just 2 appearances, this woman averaged 9 points per game while shooting a scorching 50% from 3-point range. 50% from beyond the arc. Some players spend entire seasons trying to hit that mark, and Bibby casually strolled in and made it look like shooting practice at the local YMCA.
And honestly, it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer to get her in, man, because my favorite type of players, honestly, my favorite type of players are the 3-and-D players, man. They are so essential to championship teams, to great defenses, to punishing players on turnovers. Those 3-and-D type of players, yeah, those are the main ones that can help you with that.
Her debut against the Chicago Sky, 8 points in 11 minutes. Not bad for a warm-up. But then came the Phoenix Mercury game where she unleashed 10 points in just 13 minutes, knocking down 2 3-pointers like she was playing NBA 2K on rookie difficulty. The woman was cooking, and the Fever management was taking notes faster than college freshmen in their first lecture.
Fever finally played a fast-paced game. They have Bibby on the team, which honestly makes a big difference in spacing out the floor. Khloe Bybby went in and she did what they brought her to do. She immediately took a pull-up 3, and later on she spot up, sunk a 3. She ended up coming away with 10 points for the night. She was also impactful defensively, coming away with a steal.
Now, here's what makes this signing absolutely genius-level strategic thinking. The Indiana Fever didn't just see Khloe's numbers and think, hey, she's decent. They saw the complete package. This is a 6-foot 2-inch forward who can stretch the floor, something the Fever have been desperately missing. Coach Stephanie White practically gave her a love letter in public saying, she just gives us a different look than any of our other post players. With Bibby, she's a stretch 4 and she's a shooter. We haven't had that.
And with Bibby, I mean, she's a stretch 4 and she's a shooter, and we haven't had that. And so when all else fails, just pick and pop. You know, if something happens, just pick and pop. And she's a high IQ player. She understands, you know, how to play, how to make plays. She's shot ready every time, and that's important. And it's also important that our passes are on time, on target to someone who's shot ready all the time. And I think we've been doing a better job with that.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. The Fever have been trying to build the perfect puzzle around Caitlin Clark, and suddenly this missing piece just walks through the door like she was ordered from Amazon Prime. Floor spacing, check. 3-point shooting, double check. The ability to make defenses sweat because they can't sag off her, triple check with a cherry on top. But let's talk about what this signing really means for someone else on the roster. Brianna Turner, the woman who was supposed to be the defensive anchor, the veteran presence, the missing link in Indiana's championship puzzle. Instead, she's been about as effective as a chocolate teapot. Turner is averaging a whopping 0.4 points and 0.9 rebounds in 4.1 minutes per game. She's shooting 20% from the field, which means she's missing 4 out of every 5 shots she takes. At this point, Turner's biggest contribution to the team might be keeping the bench warm for other players.
Khloe Bybby is 6'2", 194. Brianna Turner is 6'3", 175. All right, now, Bibby is what you want to call a stretch 4. This is from Stephanie White's very own mouth. Quote, she's a stretch 4, she's a shooter. We haven't had that, Fever coach Stephanie White said. So when all else fails, just pick and pop. Yeah, she's a high IQ player. Well, she is also, guys, she can play guard and forward.
Meanwhile, fans have been sitting in the stands watching Turner like they're waiting for a bus that never shows up. They expected defensive intensity, shot blocking prowess, and veteran leadership. What they got instead was someone who looks lost on the court and invisible in the stat sheet. Turner has played in 14 games this season and has exactly 5 total points to show for it. 5 points. Khloe Bybby scored more than that in her first 13 minutes as a Fever player. The writing isn't just on the wall, it's in neon lights with fireworks and a marching band. Turner's future in Indiana is looking shakier than a house of cards in a hurricane. When a team signs someone to replace your production after just 2 games, that's not a vote of confidence. That's a pink slip with a bow on it.
Oh, what does that mean for Brianna Turner? Because I haven't seen her play not one game. She just been taking up space. Look, this all I'm gonna say. You need young, fresh legs. You know what I'm saying? People you can really use. There's no point of somebody sitting on a bench that you can't use. I understand her and Stephanie White in the organization, they have some type of relationship, but you can only keep a certain amount of players. So at the end of the day, what are we really doing? You hear me? Can she help the team right now or no?
And here's the beautiful irony of it all. While Turner has been struggling to make any impact whatsoever, Khloe Bybby walked in and immediately became exactly what this team needed. She's not just filling a roster spot, she's filling a specific role that makes everyone around her better. Her ability to stretch the floor creates driving lanes for Clark, gives Mitchell more room to operate, and opens up the entire offensive system. The Fever management saw 2 games of this and said, we don't need to see anymore. This is our person. That's the kind of decisive action that separates championship organizations from pretenders. They didn't wait for a 20-game sample size or worry about hurting anyone's feelings. They saw effectiveness and locked it down immediately. However, this signing is about more than just adding another player. It's about the Indiana Fever finally building some serious momentum. After years of being the WNBA's lovable losers, this organization is starting to move like they mean business.
Only took you a couple games to make a great impression, man. I already saw you balling on the Valkyries, man, so it's no surprise that the Fever front office did the right thing and signed you to the rest of the season, man. Looking forward to that nice clean jump shot to keep cashing them threes, man. Indiana Fever.
The Fever are building depth, adding versatility, and most importantly, they're creating the kind of roster that can make a real run when Caitlin Clark returns from her groin injury. And yes, Clark's injury has been a serious problem, but this is exactly the kind of forward-thinking move that keeps a team competitive even when their superstar is sidelined. Imagine when Caitlin comes back healthy and hungry, ready to remind everyone why she's the most electrifying player in the league. Now she has Khloe Bybby spacing the floor, creating even more opportunities for those deep three-pointers that make arenas explode. The offense becomes even more unstoppable because defenses can't focus all their attention on Clark. They have to respect Bibby's shooting ability too. It is obvious that the Fever aren't just thinking about today or tomorrow, they're building for a deep playoff run. They've got Clark returning eventually, Mitchell continuing to score at an elite level, Boston dominating in the paint, and now Bibby providing that stretch 4 element they've been missing. Suddenly, this team that was hoping to maybe sneak into the playoffs is looking like they could make some serious noise once they're there. And let's be real about something else. This signing sends a message to the rest of the league. The Indiana Fever are no longer content to be developing young talent and hoping for the best. They're making moves like a team that expects to win now.
signing Khloe Bby, that's a big plus because she gonna give you everything. She been giving you everything that you've been missing. A sharpshooter, defensive minded, and she's a team player. She's selfless. That's the main thing that stands out to me when it comes to Khloe Bby. She aggressive. She don't back down. Yeah, she ready. She good to go. Great sign to Indiana Fever. I am grateful and I am blessed.
The confidence this shows in Bibby is remarkable, but it's also incredibly smart. She brings international experience, having recently helped Australia win gold at the FIBA Women's Asia World Cup. She's battle-tested, she's hungry, and she's exactly the type of player who can thrive in high-pressure situations. The Fever didn't just add depth, they added championship-caliber depth. Now, let's talk about what this means for team chemistry and locker room dynamics. When management moves this quickly and decisively, it sends a clear message to everyone on the roster. Performance matters, and if you're not contributing, your spot isn't guaranteed. That's healthy pressure, the kind that elevates everyone's game because nobody wants to be the weak link. For players like Turner, this has to be a wake-up call louder than a fire alarm at 3 a.m. The organization just showed they're willing to find solutions elsewhere if current players aren't getting the job done. That's not cruel, that's professional sports at its finest. Results matter, and the Fever are making it clear they're prioritizing winning over everything else. Every forward on the roster knows they need to bring their A game every single practice, every single game, because there's someone right behind them who's proven she can contribute immediately.
Khloe Bby is an archetype that will help them get wins. Despite she's not the most talented player in the world overall, but at the same time, she's someone who is going to fit in a role, play a role, and do exactly what's needed to do to help the team win, and she has shown that she can do that.
This isn't about creating drama or tension, it's about creating the kind of environment where excellence becomes the standard, not the exception. The best teams have players pushing each other to be better, and the Fever just added someone who's going to do exactly that. Bibby's work ethic and immediate impact will force everyone around her to elevate their games. And let's not forget the fan perspective here, because Indiana basketball fans know quality when they see it. They watched 2 games of Khloe Bby and saw someone who fits seamlessly into their team's system, someone who makes the right plays and doesn't try to do too much. These are fans who have been waiting for their team to be relevant again, and moves like this show them that their patience is about to be rewarded. The energy around this signing has been electric, with fans celebrating not just the addition of Bibby, but what it represents. A franchise that's finally making smart, aggressive moves to win now. Looking ahead, the timing of this signing couldn't be more perfect. The Fever are about to embark on a crucial stretch of games that will determine their playoff seeding, and having Bibby locked in for the rest of the season provides the kind of stability and confidence that can make all the difference. They don't have to worry about losing her to another team or negotiating another short-term deal. She's theirs and she's ready to contribute.
Once again, the Fever do the right thing and sign Khloe Bby to the rest of this season. It was just a no-brainer move, man. Khloe is a baller. Her jump shot is amazing. Her form is amazing. You can never have enough shooters on the team. Clark could shoot the 3. Kelsey could shoot the 3. Lexi could shoot the 3. Sophie could shoot the 3. Khloe could shoot the 3.
But perhaps the most telling aspect of this entire situation is how it reflects the new culture in Indiana. Under the previous regime, they might have waited, deliberated, and eventually missed out on a player like Bibby. But this new front office, led by people who understand that championship windows don't stay open forever, moved with the kind of urgency that separates winners from wishful thinkers. They saw talent, they recognized fit, and they acted decisively. That's championship-level thinking, and it's exactly the kind of approach that can turn a franchise around. The Fever aren't just building for the future anymore, they're building for right now. And Khloe Bby is a perfect example of that philosophy in action. And here's the beautiful part about all of this. When Caitlin Clark returns healthy and ready to dominate, she's going to have an even better supporting cast around her. The Fever have been steadily building something special, and the Bibby signing might just be the final piece that puts them over the top.
Khloe Bby, after signing her 7-day contract with the Indiana Fever, and then she did travel with the team to Dallas, but today was day 7, she has now signed a rest of the year contract. They like what she's doing for the Fever. She's adding good minutes, she's got good quality minutes, she's got good production while she's in. So Khloe Bby will be with the Indiana Fever for the rest of the season. They don't have to make any other moves, but they can. but we don't know if they will or not, obviously.
So while Brianna Turner sits on the bench wondering what happened to her role, and while other teams around the league wish they had been smart enough to sign Bibby first, the Indiana Fever are sitting pretty with a roster that's built for a deep playoff run. They've got the star power, they've got the depth, and now they've got the kind of player in Bibby who can be the difference between a first-round exit and a championship parade. This isn't just about one signing, it's about a franchise that's finally ready to compete with the big boys. The Indiana Fever just announced to the WNBA that they're no longer rebuilding, they're no longer hoping, and they're no longer content with moral victories. They're here to win, and Khloe Bybby is going to help them do exactly that. The message is clear, the roster is loaded, and the championship dreams are very much alive in Indiana. When Clark returns and this team clicks at full strength, the playoffs better be ready, because Indiana is coming, and they're bringing everything they need to make some serious noise.